Lock the door on him. Lock the door on him. Hood postman. Hood postman. Reporting live. Reporting live. This the hood postman, come and check the program. You ain't from the streets, this is something you should know, man. Running from police, gotta grip the whip with both hands. Speeding down the interstate, please do not approach him. 40s in the fridge, got the caddy in the driveway. Get all out of my face, I don't wanna violate. Looked up in the mirror and I told myself, why wait? We took this shit worldwide, you only in 5 states. Came from the 4 corners with my 4 quarters. Showed them the style, then they stole on us. Times got wild, then they told on us. Dog, it was hard, but we had to keep it rolling. You ain't gotta ask, you know where to find me. I be in the back streets where it get grimy. It's just me and Mel, Rennie looking bride D. I be going hard till I'm in the 5 C's. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides. I ain't never had to tell a lie. Let's ride. Know the vibes. I'ma do it till I die. I ain't never switched sides. I ain't never told a lie. Let's ride. Hood postman. 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 Hood postman.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation, the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Bell, the Hood Postman. We are back for another rainy Tuesday, right? It's raining over where I'm at. I don't know about where you guys. Hope you guys are high and dry outside, staying warm. As you can see, we're back at it again. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first and the 50th. This isn't a glorification. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world and get alive, but you come right here to hear the truth, and the truth you shall receive today. An understanding of people's hidden motives is the single greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power and having domain over the circumstances that which you might find yourself in. Reality must be discerned at all costs if you plan on being a part of the future. Always, if you plan on being a part of the future. Trust take years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. That's just the facts of it. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. That's why I don't trust words. I even question actions. But I never doubt patterns. Patterns is what you want to pay attention to, people's patterns, because everybody have patterns. And the patterns will determine whether that person is worthy of the things he say and do. I told you guys once before. Can you hear me once? Can you guys hear me okay out there? I always got to do a mic check. Mic check, 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 check. Right on. Right on. What's up? What's good? We gotta always check those things because we don't never know what one's motives is, what their hidden agendas may be, and how they really care about you. People act like they got they want to help you or things, or are they for you and all that. All that's part of everyday activity. But today we're here to talk about February the 14th. This is a day I really don't particularly like remembering, but I have to because it's my dad's birthday, February the 14th, 1933. My dad was born, Marshall, Texas. He entered the armed forces at an early age. I think he was like 16. Wasn't even supposed to be there when he went in. He became what we know as paramilitary military. He was an airborne ranger. Had a good career in the armed forces. Ate, slept, thought, woke up military. That was just his way of seeing things in terms of putting things in perspective. He related to it really well. And it also helped raise his kids because he raised us in a way to where he taught us right from wrong. He took us around the world with his stories because he spoke different languages and he talked to us in many different about culture and made us understand the importance of just being a good person and not mistreating nobody and don't let nobody mistreat you. So that I say, rest in peace, Dad. Happy heavenly birthday. But we also here to talk about my circumstance on my dad's birthday, attempted assassination. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me check the mic. Check mic, check, 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 check. That part. Anthony Hanna. Shout out to Michelle. I see you in there. Thank you, Michelle, for yesterday. I appreciate you. Okay, Dominique Mayweather. Okay. Okay, we got people in there. Um, February the 14th represents so much. And yet it's happy on one end and heartbreaking on the other. It was a day that they attempted to assassinate me. And the circumstances that led up to it was a person that had a hidden motive and he was being dishonest. And he sold me out for a little bit of nothing. And during that time, of course I was doing the things I was doing, moving the way I was moving. But at the same time, I was in my own lane and created my own thing. I wasn't following nobody. I wasn't on nobody's bumper about anything I was doing in life. Everything I did, I fashioned them with my own two hands. I always created. I was able to create after do. I was able to create my own shot. I didn't need other people because I was a very good thinker. And one of the things that stood out to me during this time, and it was actually the Linwood Vikings that attempted. I knew their names: Steinwein, Jindum, Harris, Ramos. They was part of a Linwood task force. And actually, they were the same people that when on February, 7 days later, after they tried to assassinate me, who let Kenny Wayne Johnson bleed out in the middle of the streets over there in Linwood. I think Turtle could have survived that circumstance and situation had they had been doing their due diligence, had they have been following the color of authority under the law that everybody deserved equal right and protection, no matter what. See, because it's the courts and the jury that determine whether you're guilty or you will spend and how much time you will spend, whatever. Not the police. The police are not there to be the judge, jury, and executioners. They're not there. But in our communities, it happened too often. The police departments are weaponized against us simply for the color of our skins. Nothing more, nothing less. They dislike us for that. They despise us because they see something greater in us than they see in themselves. They see the lack of scarcity, lack. And I always use facts, statistics, figures, and reality, observable reality to explain myself. But at the same time, I had to do a lot of soul searching and come to terms with myself on certain things that I did that led to certain actions. I can remember one time, and I'm gonna tell you a quick story about Turtle, and I get back to that other thing. I actually owed Turtle some money. I owed him a great deal of money, but Turtle he had so much charisma and emotional intelligence. In other words, when I say emotional intelligence, he wasn't a person that just react and say, "Oh, you over me, I'm gonna do this and all that." He wasn't that person. That person he was. With some, he might have been, but with people that he cared about, he grew up, he loved, and he shared things with, and he banged with, and all that, it was a difference. And what he did, he uh he had the situation. It involved a half a chicken, whatever, right? And it was a way for me to pay him at the same time, make some money, and get out the hole I was in and get back on top. That's just how much he cared about. Because one thing about him, and I had to, and as I examined the whole circumstances and situations, he always took counsel with me. He always sought counsel because we would sit down and talk. And then, I mean, there's always a higher level of understanding and a higher level of participation and what your commitment is to something. Like sometimes I use the word, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I mean that. I want you to, and even though I'm you putting that saying on it, but I'm saying in a way that you can accept what I'm saying, and it doesn't sound gross. It's not negligent, and it don't have a some type of negative connotation to it. In other words, I took the word and softened it and gave it spiced it up, so to speak, and it can land just okay. Because I don't use cuz, I don't use blood, I don't use the name, I don't use none of that. I think those things are just useless tools in the progression and the growth that I have gained in the destination that I'm going at this pace, and the rate of and the pace I'm going. I think it's important to pay attention to who I am and what I want in this life, and what outcomes I want. And when he did that, we went to the back house, right? So he got all this big old pile of money. And I'm looking at the money, right? And then I looked at it real close. I said, wait a minute, man. It's funny money. Funny money, right? And told him to say, hey, man, don't worry about that. I got it all set up. I said, all right, G. He said, I already called the guy. He's coming. He's going to come down there. You're going to meet him down halfway down the block. He don't know I got anything to do with it. You're going to take the money down there. You're going to buy it from him, and we're going to cut it up. We're going to be even. You're going to be ahead, and I'm going to be okay. I looked at Turtle. I say, only you would think of this, Turtle. Only Turtle would think of this stuff. And sure enough, it went out, but just like a hitch without him saying it. I'm not going to tell you who the person was, but man, it took them some while to find out that they've been got. They've been had. They've been hoodwinked. They've been flim-fammed. It was nothing they could do after that. You know what I mean? Because the person really didn't know me. He didn't know me at all, but he knew T. He called T, and told T, yeah, man, that dude got me, man. It's just funny when I think about some of the stuff that guy would come up with. And, and we would always divvy it up, whether it was seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, or whatever. How many people was involved, we always figured it out. It was never a whole bunch of pushing and shoving and shouting. And, so, some people get some money and they go to fighting and cutting and shooting and everything else. Not with Kenny Wayne Johnson. He was so fair in what he did, and I appreciated him for that. It was just so funny. But anyway, going back to the sheriffs, corrupt sheriff department, whether it's the Banditos, they was the Stony Boys, they was the executioners, they were the jump out boys. These supposed to be police departments that are there to serve and protect. But yet they seem to be running a counter surveillance, a counter type of a police department inside of a police department. In other words, they operating outside of the parameters of what we believe police. They are operating as a gang. They got tattoos. They jumping out saying, "What's up, cuz?" Or "What's up?" You looking at them like, man, what's going on with these people? So they seem like they so badly and desperately want to be a part of the fray, want to be a part of the drug dealing, want to be a part of the prostitution, want to be a part of the shooting. They want to be engaging in all that. Seems like they're overexcited about it. Because when they tried to assassinate me, my right-handed guy, man, they was like all charged up, jumping around like, yeah, like like they had got me, but unknown to them, they didn't get me. I played dead on them. Played dead on them. They shot at me numerous times. I can't even count the bullets that they riddled off in that situation. February the 14th, 1989. Tried to just take me out. Didn't give me a chance. Didn't tell me they were the police. I didn't even know they were the police. Didn't have no idea until after when I took off, because let me tell you something. I always had a praying grandmother, a praying mother, praying father. Although they didn't go to conventional, what people quote unquote church, but they was praying people. Spirituality. The true African spirituality in the sense of how you pray for your people and your kids, and you want the best outcomes for them. And I remember my mother, sometimes I would pull up and I'll be banging my music in my car, and she would look out the window, see some girl look in my car, and my mother would look out the window and say, because anybody in my family know I'm Pedro. In my family, if somebody called me Pedro, then I really know that you know me. You know me well because you said that name, because that's the name I had as a little kid. Pedro, that's me. And all the other stuff came later. So I had to evolve from Pedro to Q to Baby Huey to Melly Mail to Pimpin' Mail to Dahoodpostman. Here I am, y'all. Those are the names, right? Went through all those transition stages, and all of it was a learning process. All of it was, where I reassigned my DNA, freed myself from ancestral trauma, cultivated space for the abundance to flow. This is what you now see, the abundance, right? So my mother would peek out there, look out there, see. She said, Pedro, who's that girl out there in your car? I said, oh, mama, that's my friend. She look again. She said, boy, that girl ain't no good. Her mama no good, and her daddy ain't no good. I say, mama, how you know that? You don't even know her. She said, I don't have to know her. She didn't get out to come introduce herself to your mama. She's sitting out in that car with them little bitty clothes on. She don't even respect herself. How's she gonna respect me or you? So my mama told me that, right? And as life progressed and things begin to come clearer as I grew up, I began to understand a lot of things that my mother and father said. And these were some of the things that I had to take into account, because this is part of my survival. These are the techniques that I use to apply to survival. All the worldly stories that my dad told me, all the things that my mom taught me. My mom played almost professional, like softball, as on women's team at Roy Campanella Park, believe it or not. So that's where we got our actually sports from. Me, all my brothers, we played baseball, minor leagues, major leagues, seniors, and all that stuff. We went through all the ranks, and we also played football. Well, I played football and stuff like that, and my brothers played a little bit of basketball, whatever. But anyway, all that stuff. My mother ran track. I could just remember my mother being in she had like a 52 or 53 Chevy, the slump back one, with 3 in the column and the pipes in the back, and she dropped it, blah, 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 blah. I remember that so clear, I said, oh, when I think about it, I said, man, my mother was hip, she was popping. It's just funny when you think about that stuff. That's when Roy kept, because I went to McKinley right there on that street, right across the street from Campanella Park. Swam in Campanella Park, lived on Aprilla, second house. Well, the first house into the gate. If you go on Aprilla, the little backfield with a gate to go to Enterprise, that first house right there had a back house back then, a front house. And my Aunt Katie, my great Aunt Katie, owned that house. She rest in peace. But anyway, that's just, those are the things that when I think about it, reflect back. But that stuff, everything my father taught me how to hunt, fish, camp. We went trapping for everything. Pheasants, quail, rabbit, bear. We went under everything, you know. And then my grandparents had this humongous ranch, and they grew everything out there. They had horses, pigs, cows, goats, bulls, chickens, turkeys, everything. So we had a pretty good upbringing as far as how to survive and how to eat off the land and how to till the land and make the land work for you and be a prophet as well. So we knew all that stuff. So I learned how to shoot early, maybe 10, 11 years old. Single shot shotgun. Then you graduate to the 410, 10 gauge to the 12 gauge. Yeah. So yeah, all that. So when you get into these situations, then you find yourself in this other scenario when you get thrown into this gangbang thing. People don't even know that you already kind of prepared for this because you did this early on. It ain't like you don't know how to use a firearm. You don't know how to field strip a firearm, put it back together, clean it, work it, all that. Making sure the action works, the bolt action or whatever you got, whether you got pump or bolt action or you got trigger. See, people don't understand these things. And they, when I see these youngsters out here just wailing and flailing, they have absolutely no clue because they wasn't raised like I was raised. They're raised different today. The streets died the moment everybody got on the internet. Died. So if you out there in the streets, they got from each traffic light to traffic light, there's a camera. From each house, there's doorbell to doorbell to doorbell cameras. There's multiple cameras. There's multiple listening devices. There's satellites. There's all sorts of kind of devices out there in this world to catch you up. And if you're unaware of that, then you just a step away. Because guess what? You got to be lucky every day, and the police got to be lucky how many times? One time. That's it. So with those type of odds, how can you win? How can you prevail with those odds? Those odds don't favor you at all. Those odds don't favor you. San Diego in the house, 619. What's good with you? Yeah, I got y'all in the tag too, in the hashtag San Diego. Yeah, so going back to the police departments. So when I saw how they act and how they behaved, I knew that it was for no good. I knew that. I could sense it. I could feel it. And I understood it because we used to shop at the military Fort McCarthy, go down there to the naval base when the naval base was down in Long Beach, eat ice creams on destroyers, and they couldn't bring battleships up in, but aircraft carriers and stuff like that. So we was really engaged. My father was really engaged in building his children and showing us how to navigate and survive this life. We went everywhere. Father didn't deny us nothing. Man, we had crab necks, the big, I don't know if you guys ever went crabbing, but crabbing is quite an experience as well. So when I talk about these things, I talk about them for the good because it's one thing to talk about just gangbanging, but gangbanging is not the ethnic identity of Black people. That's 10 seconds of your life. If you woke up every day, sleep, think, and ate gangbanging, you wouldn't last 6 months, maybe not even 3 months or a month. Because that can't be the catalyst for what you wake up every day and do. And it don't have the disruption or you become dysfunctional or you get one or two things. You wind up in the graveyard, you wind up in prison for life, or you wind up in a wheelchair. This is one of the saddest things. When we think about this, I want you guys to watch this and just look at the symbolic symbols of this, because three things the way we learn: symbolic, trauma, and repetition. This is literally since 1969. This is literally what we've been doing since 1969 all the way to present day, 2023. Lining up at the graveyard and literally falling in the same holes. Because countless of dudes, whether blue, red, whatever team they're on, they're buried in those graveyards. There's so many people buried in Angeles Abbey out there on Bullis. Turtles out there, Raymond's out there, Ray Johnson's out there, down on Randy McQuiller's out there. Let's see who else is out there. There's so many people that died. That's right now. There used to be mortal enemies that rested in that graveyard right there on Bullis. But the thing about it, you don't see no fussing, no fighting, no feud, no disagreements. It's just quiet. They used to really take care of that place, but if you see it now, it kind of looks like desolate. It looks tore down, not well kept. It looks a mess over there, you know, if you think about it. And this is the reason why I come on these airways and try to explain to you guys. I give you a little bit of gang knowledge and information, but at the same time, I give you some substance of which you can hold on to. And just hold on to your children and the ones that you feel that's out there that need your love and need your attention and need you to show them how to do certain things so they don't become handicapped in this life. You got a certain amount of percentage of young men that want 5 things. They want a blunt PlayStation, a girl with a fat booty. They want some social assistance and a bucket. How you survive off of that is beyond me. But they do, you know. You have 2 choices when you wake up in the morning. You can either go back to sleep and have a dream, or you can get up and go catch a dream. Thanks to Marlena Williams for that. You can get out there and go catch a dream, you know. And that's what life is all about, you know. And just think about, shout out to DJ Vegas. These supposed to be law-abiding citizens. You're right, but are they law-abiding if they allow one of us to get shot and then they allow you to lie in the streets and bleed out like that, like they did Turtle? They literally lied, and they wouldn't let nobody go out there and help him or try to do nothing. You know, they wouldn't do nothing because they wanted him to go. They felt like he was a thorn in their side. He didn't meet their overall objectives. He was black, he was a gang member, and he had his own way of looking at things. Now, was there some partnerships with certain other police departments? Sure it was. But was it with that one? No. So a lot of these gang task force police officers, they be acting like they're in a freaking gang. They acting like a gang. You know, get those likes up, you know. I know you guys, I mean, you know, it's just, I don't know. Where do we go from here as a people? When is we going to understand that this destination or this roller coaster we on, it's not going to end well for us if we continue in this mindset. We have 1% of the wealth of this country since 1619, and still we had 1.5% of the wealth of this country. So they got us in containment. They got us controlled. They got us following their education system. They got us following their religious system and their judicial systems. Everything that they got for us, they created it. Church is a business. Jesus is a product. The people are the consumers, and the pastors and bishops are the benefactors. And they're not going to tell you anything because they live such a precious life, a good, rich life, based on you giving and putting into the collection plate. Come Monday morning, all that money, whether it's taken in all the way around the country, going to the bank of white supremacy. It don't go into a black institution. Just think if we took all our money and put it in one lockbox, just the interest alone, we could do a lot of great things. Yeah, you're right. Gorilla and integration and destroyed our unity. Yeah, we had so much unity in the 60s. The 60s was, man, I'm old enough to remember how the 60s were, even though we were being, there was a lot of racism, but yet we was together. We wasn't separated. We wasn't divided. We would ride together. I remember they used to have special days for us to go swimming at the Linwood Plunge, at the Linwood swimming pool over there in Linwood Park. We just couldn't go up there and go swimming back in the 60s. OG Green Machine, they just, if you went up there, you wasn't getting in because you were black. Your day probably was Tuesday. Couldn't go Wednesday. You might be able to go again Thursday, but you couldn't go Friday. Yeah, so they wouldn't let you swim with the white kids. Not in the 60s, not in Linwood. And that's when they had them white cars. And you got to remember that a lot of those old Linwood police, when they flipped over and became sheriffs, those are the white racist cops that became the Vikings and continued in the spirit of racism. I remember they got me, Rat, Big Ruben, Tim, CB Crazy Bob, and Rat one night, and White Boy Greg. No, it wasn't Tim, it was White Boy Greg. And when they realized White Boy Greg was with us, they kept beating him, calling him White Dog. White Dog, you white dog, what you doing with these ninjas? White Dog, White Dog. They slapped me with a, remember they used to have them little saps, what they call them, saps with the little lead and the little black strap? Bow! My jaw was like this, you know. I remember Rat was cussing them out. My brother Rat was just cussing them out, man. They took us all down to the Linwood, kept us down there. Eventually, our parents came and got us, you know. Shout out to Big Deb. What's going on, Big Deb? Shout out to Big Deb for helping my nephew get a job over there where he's at, y'all. Big Deb is a great guy. He does his part. He does his part in the community. Just like the police that Ice Cube act character in the Straight Outta Compton. Yep. In Elevate. Yep. They're exactly like them. Yeah. Straight out of them. So what we gonna do with our youth? You know, what can we do? Where do we start? Because you can't take something if you without having something to give. I hear a lot of people talk about activism. I hear a lot of people talk about doing the work, and that's fine. But right on, Herbert Vaughn, I appreciate you. Let's figure out what's the best approach to it, because again, you can't take something without having something to give. Because that's what happened to us. We had after school programs, we had the Cedar program, we had the team polls, we had the Little League, baseball, basketball, football, and any part you will sign up $10 to $15 during that time. What up, Norris? Let me see. Josh Norris. What up, Melly Mel? To the powers that be killing and locking up the strong, smart, and influential. Yeah, brothers and sisters is like the favorite pastime to them. Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. Because, you know, like I say, I was targeted, bro. And the crazy part, all that, right? Even after I went through all that ordeal and, you know, they tried to kill me and everything, but I survived it. I wound up doing some time. And I think it was 2 or 3 days after I was home, right? The same brown detective car that had been following me, not the van, because it was the van initially made contact with me. That's where them jump out boys is. Big Dave know about that brown van they used to have, and the brown car, the brown 4-door. It was one of them Caprice Classics. And I'm walking out my father's house, and I'm on the back porch, and I happen to look towards the street because we lived on Spring Street, right off of Rosecrans, behind the buildings on the corner, first house. And the car pulled up, and they pulled right up. And I looked out there, and both of them did like this here. They did like this, And then they started laughing and pulled off. Yeah, there you go, Dale. They started laughing and pulled off. They was letting me know they were still on me. You know, they were letting me know they were still on me. But I'm still here, right? I'm still here, you know. And it was crazy because once they took me up there, they had me in like a single male cell. I was in the county jail. And when I got word of what happened to Turtle, it was like 7 days after the little situation I had, right? I got word about what happened to Turtle. And I didn't believe it because, you know, as suave and charismatic and the charisma this guy had and how he was with people and how he related to everybody, even the red team. And great man, there was some dudes on the red team get anything they want from Turtle because he understood economics, he understood power, he had facts, statistics, figures, and reality going for him. He understood that 2 plus 2 was going to be 4. That was not problematic for him, and he excelled. He grew an economy over in that neighborhood that everybody in that neighborhood ate off of. Everybody. Anybody tell you they didn't eat off that economy that Turtle put over there, they be lying to you. Keep up the good vibes. Right on, Herbert Bond. Appreciate it, bro. Keep telling your life. If they can't learn from that, not much more you can do. Yeah, and that's the purpose too, man. Because I got a meaning and a purpose. Creative Machine. I got a meaning and a purpose, and the purpose is to keep speaking about and keep speaking life into individuals that I know they need that extra boost. They need that to understand that the possibilities. Impossible is being proven wrong every day. There's possibles. See people say, man, that's impossible. Then you see somebody do it. When you saw Bo Jackson run up that baseball wall back in, what was that, the 80s, he did that and ran up there, grabbed that ball. Before he did it, they said that was impossible. Then one day, boom, he did it. Like, wow. When you saw Ben Johnson and Carl Lewis and Usain Bolt and all these different people run these top speeds as a human being, impossible. When they named Bob Hayes the world's fastest man and Jesse Owens, then you saw Tiger Woods. He started calling himself a whatever Malaysian or whatever he confused, brother. But we still, we accept him. He went out there, conquered the golf world. Venus and Serena Williams. See, these are the this is the blood that runs through all of us. You understand? What you call it? Gang of Yaspar down in Mexico. Black revolutionary. The first black president of Mexico, Maximilian. I think it was Maximilian. I'm not for sure about the name. But if you go look at all that stuff, you see that we have a bigger relationship with them people than what they've been led to believe. Because the Europeans, which are the Spaniards, that's not the language that they speak in Mexico is not their true language. That's a Spaniard. That's a European language. They was conquered and they wind up accepting that culture. You understand? These are people with native North Americans. They was native to the land that they were standing on. So much we could talk about when it comes to the stuff. We have to find our own institutions for the youth in our communities, boxing, trades, homes. We got to get into technology. We can't. We got to get away from everybody think they got a jump shot. Everybody think they can run football. Everybody think they can rap. They can do all that. We got to get into engineers, doctors, astronomers, mathematicians. Technology is where it's at. 5 things that make this world function. That's science, chemistry, biology, physics, and mathematics. You conquer those subjects. If you could just take the mathematics and science in the biology, you don't necessarily need the chemistry and the physics. And you could do so much in this world. You can't put it all on Snoop and Dre back either. No, I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even try, bro. Because for one thing, for certain too, for sure, they're so commercial. And they understand that in order to retain and keep maintaining the wealth that they have, they gotta keep they gotta keep doing what they're doing. They gotta keep, keep following the power structure, the people that put them in power, the people that put them in play. They gotta stay within that. Else they'll be like OJ, they'll be like Bill Cosby, they'll be like Michael Jackson. They'll find a way to ridicule him, destroy him, and take all the wealth. That's what they'll do to black. That's what they do to black people. You get too mouthy, or you get too much power. You start talking about you want to buy a whole network TV station, or you want to buy all the rights to Sony Music, or you want to do something. You want to just garner and corner a whole market. Yeah, they got a problem with that. They understand that. See, they understand because they already done did the experiment. They allowed us into football, right? What happened? We took it over. They allowed us in basketball. What happened? What we took it over. Anything we get a hold of, and you get us some numbers up in there, we're gonna take it over. They already know that. So that's why they moved the goalposts. They moved the goalposts. They changed the rules. They changed the laws to favor them and be against us. That's just the nature of it. But one thing for certain, two for sure, the universe is in control. The dynamics have changed. We've been in this age right here for far too long. The world, they didn't even tell y'all that the core inside of the planet, it changed directions. This maybe about a month or two ago. They ain't even said nothing about that. Most of you don't even know that happened. See, there's a lot of things that like when they put on like when you get to the Super Bowl, these are things like when they put on the World Series, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Cup, and stuff like that, or the certain events when they got everybody's attention worldwide, practically or nationwide. This is when they do things, and you never even know they done it until after, or somebody revealed a secret, like William Milton Cooper, "Behold a Pale Horse." You know, these people, then you find out they've been assassinated because they got to talking too much, dropping jewels. There was one excerpt in the book, right, that talk about the Illuminati means the aluminum, the light. It means light. That's what Illuminati means. And these individuals usually went to Harvard and Yale. There was the Scrolls and Keys and Bones. What is it called? Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones and Scrolls and Keys, right? And when George Bush took the oath, he had to lie in a casket with a ribbon tied around his genitalia, and he had to speak out loud his most sexual fantasies, illicit and sexual fantasies, in front of these group of men in naked under these cloaks. How crazy is that? Who does that? What kind of substance is that? What kind of society is that? What kind of secret order is that? It's all diabolical. I'm telling you, it's all diabolical, man. It's all diabolical. Diabolical. So, good news. Saturday, I ran into the guy, right, that I was told you was in the ADX, and they did the experiments on, and they had him under mind control. They had him robbing banks, and they implanted in his body the digital angel, and they had him on command and had him doing all this thing. They tortured him, beat him, and did all this stuff. And then me and him had the same judge, Stephen D. Wilson. Stephen B. Wilson is also the judge that incarcerated and gave Ray Browning, the Pasadena Ray, all those cats, and Doc Holliday, all those guys out of Pasadena, gave them all them life sentences. And Doc Holliday is still in the ADX right now. Well, I ran into him, and he agreed to come on. So we gonna get into it. We gonna break some stuff down. I can't wait to bring him on. Now, when you guys hear this guy, and he talk about all these different things that these people did to him while he was in there, but he survived it. And they let him go. Now he get to talk about it. I was there when they refused to give him the MRI to prove, because he wrote up a motion. And he alleged that they put these microchips in his body. And he said, okay, if you don't believe me, give me an MRI. And the judge shut the court down and said, oh, no, we're not doing that. No. Because then they exposed the experiment. Now, if they down there experimenting, they experimenting on these people in the Guantanamo Bay. This is why they do all this different stuff, you know. ADX, Colorado is like the center for disease control. It's the Food and Drug Administration. It's for secret missile bases. They got, what is it called? Something Weather Mountain or something like that. Of course, that's where FEMA comes from. You guys don't even know about some of the stuff that they got up there. And it's all, they even got this one city where everything is ran by debit and digital and chips, where they don't want no cash. And now you're seeing businesses now saying they don't accept cash. It's changing. So when you find a business that don't accept cash, what does that tell you? What is that telling you? Because if there's no cash in the society, right? There's no sense of robbing nobody anymore, right? There's no sense in the cash. There's no more, nobody can buy drugs, no more cash. There's a lot of things that cash allow people to do that if you turn it into a debit society, that the government will be able to keep track of everything, because now it's all in digital, it's all in computer, it's all in microchip, right? They'll be able to keep track of everything. They're already watching us. They already listen to phones. I don't even worry about it. Phone, television. If you think you got something, you get out of this, it's a cloak and dagger. You playing these skullduggery games, and you think you getting away with something. Nah, you might as well go and speak your piece. Let them know how you feel about it. Get up off the bench. Get up. Stop being empathetic. Stop being afraid. Stop being that the government is watching you, because they watch us all. When they indicted me, Gangster, my brother, my homie Pee Wee, Don Juan, and others, Little Ernie, nephew, Lawrence Reed, them the dudes I know stay solid. The rest of them I can't speak for. Chewy, of course, Lupe, Casey's wife, Lupe, rest in peace, Lupe, and her brother Chewy, and some others too, right? Bumbles had a standoff with the FBI SWAT team during that time. We didn't even talk about that yet, but yeah. But anyway, they had a picture of me, right? It was blew up like a big old poster. And they got me looking up like this here. And where they took that picture from, only thing I could come up with is that it had to either be a drone or a satellite. That's the only thing I can come up with. There's no way they could have got that picture like that. No way. No way. But that's just how they do. Let me see what the questions are. I'm ready for some questions. Green Machine, fire. Correct. None of these languages are our natural language. That's true. It's not. Very factual, Professor. Thank you, Marlena. Speak on the postman. Speak on that, postman. The fourth industrial revolution is coming. You're right. You're right, dog man. Be prepared. You know, it's good to be liquid. It's good to have at least where you can put your hands on 10,000 cash. You don't know what you may need it for, but just have that on hand. Most of us have an idea of what native tribes and parts of the West African arts ancestors came from. Yeah. See, here's the thing too. Always remember this. Make more, spend less, invest the rest. Not necessarily in stocks and bonds and commodities, but in property. And I had an argument with a guy and told him that the wealth of this country is determined by the land you own. The Oprah Winfrey's, the Donald Trumps, the Donald Sterlings, the Mark Cubans, Warren Buffett, uh, Summer Redstone, all these super rich mega people, they own swaths of land. Even Kanye had a big old, like 1,000 acres in Wyoming or something, you know, because the wealth of this country has always been determined by the property you own. But we want to go buy Cadillacs and Mercedes and all this stuff. We want to be, hey, here we come with what they call it, the flossing, and they call it stunting. And that's cloud chasing. See, cloud chasing is a step higher because cloud chasing has the other two components and some in it. See, cloud chasing had the stunting, it has the flossing, but it has the element of the internet and all the other ingredients that goes into what people use the internet for. Because some people use the internet for good and some people use it for bad. It's a duality. Everything we have is a duality. They speak about this in Islam. My brother will tell you about that. Everything has a duality. Up and down, him and her, open and close. There's only one oneness. That's the creator. That's going to be good. Peace and blessings, big brother. Right on, bro. DOC, Ray are no one longer in ADX. Doc and Ray are no longer in ADX. They were both transferred out to two different FCIs. Okay, good to know. Yeah, so you never thought about that, huh? Yes, it's different, man. It's different. But see, that's what they do. They get you and back again to the ADX. The ADX was meant to break the mental down, break the physical down, break you down to the lowest common denominator, what you could take and what you couldn't take. Because they've been doing this for a very long time when they was, creating slaves and creating breeding and crossbreeding and trying to create the super, we were already supermen. We got reduced to men. Yeah. What else is he on? What do you mean? What else is he on? You got to explain that. Here you go.
What do you mean by that?
Big bank jobs are done. What else is he on? Okay, I read that. Haven't had more than $40 in my pocket in the last 2 years, but I paid. Yeah, see, you're right. Most people don't have it. I have, man. Let me see. I walk around with a little cash, right? I walk around with a little cash. Just so y'all know, I do have cash in there. But all these are credit cards and debit cards and bank cards, and it's like 20 some cards in here. This is what it's come down to. But I do keep cash because I don't never know what might come up. Just a little bit, but not much. Like Green Machine said, OG Green Machine. Yeah, that's 20-year-old technology. Just think how much it advanced now. Because if you think about that book Milton Cooper wrote, to Behold the Pale Horse, a lot of that stuff is proving itself now. Styling and profiling, stunting and fronting, flossing and tossing. Yeah, that's just how they used to say it too, bro. But now you got the extra sauce, man, with the clout chasing. But let me ask you something, Green Machine. That if China got the best technology, why they never attack us? Why Russia never attack us? Because I'm gonna tell you something. In China, they call the Chinese. In Russia, they call the Russians. In they call the British. In Germany, they call the Germans. In Africa, they call the Africans. There's only one place in the world they call the white man. That's here, bro. That make him the damnedest thing on the earth. He is diabolical. He's calculated. He's the only species, right? He's the only species that know his bomb work. We don't know if anybody else bomb work, but these people right here, they know they bomb work because they dropped it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Tried, proven, and testimony. They got people still right to this day suffering from that. To show you how far it went back, to how that chemical and that radiation got into people's genes and their bloodstreams, you know. So people can say what they want to say about anybody else, whether what you feel about China, but China make raggedy stuff, bro. Just think about all the stuff you get from China 2 weeks after you get it breaks. That's why it's so cheap. It ain't no good. It's not a good product. At one time, the United States owned over 90-something% of the rice crops around the world. And then they put Agent Orange on a lot of other rice crops over there in Cambodia and Vietnam. I'm telling you, man, the United States they diabolical, bro. They talk all this, peace and love and all this stuff, but we a war machine. Name me a year that the United States haven't been at war. Name me 1 year. Did you know that the United States pulled on secret attacks against Somalia just the other day? Going against the Al-Shabaab? Yeah. See, I'm telling you, that stuff that happened. That might even happen Super Bowl day. This is what I'm telling you. We so distracted by certain things, and we don't even realize what's going on in the world. Because all these things are meant to distract you. It's on purpose. If Russia or China thought they can take us, they've been on done it. They'd have been on done it. We're the only country where the citizenry have more guns than most countries put together. United States citizens. There's no other country armed like this one. No other country. So you got to think about that. And then you got to look at it in this. It's okay to see a country marching and being on stride. They look good, marching with their tanks and their armory. All that stuff look good, right? But is it tested? See, you don't become good until you test it. United States fight year in and year out. They are tested. That army is well tested, prepared, and ready to do the best, and also do the worst to those people that's going to oppose whatever they're trying to do. Did you see did you guys pay attention when the United States ran through Iraq? They did that in a week, ran through them. Boom, there was no more Uday Hussein, and all them people gone. Gaddafi, gone. So we don't know because this is Western culture society. So the propaganda machine that's feeding you all this love, all this peace and love and flowery stuff. But in the other parts of the world, they know the real. That's why they hate us so much. How do you combat some people that's willing, they so desperate to get a win that they strap up with bombs on their person because they don't know no other way to fight this. So don't you think that a second, not 1 second, that these people are slipping? If they are, it'll be a surprise to me. Nothing personal, Professor, just business. Yeah, that's it. Nothing personal, just business. China, 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 bro, they may own, I don't know if they own skyscrapers downtown, but I'm talking about weapons. I ain't talking about buildings, bro. Owning buildings and owning weapons are two very different things. Two very different things. Only way you're gonna understand how diabolical is the United States is if you get out of the United States and go live in another country for 5 or 6 years, and then you will know exactly what these people are capable of. Like I say, again, tell me one place in one country that know they bombs works besides the United States. I'm talking about nuclear bombs. The United States has dropped them and didn't blink a bat of eye doing it. Didn't care. So if you think buildings compared to missiles and nuclear armament and secret weapons and all this different stuff that we don't even know about that they have, then I don't know what to tell you. All those are deceptions, bro. Dog, man, all those are deceptions. The United States is not worried about homosexuality. They're not worried. They all those are distractions, deceptions. I'm telling you, bro. The stuff that they got is all computerized, it's all technology, it's all chips. The chips, most of the chips that they make that would make it in Taiwan now, the United States are taking them over. Now they're making them here because they didn't want Chinese to get too close to that technology. Where the Chinese just now sending balloons up, the United States been in their offices and their kingdoms and they rooms for years. There's a book called it's by Asian cat. His name was Deja New. He wrote about all this stuff. I can't remember the book name, but he wrote about all this stuff. But he wrote about it from his perspective, from where he was at, for what he saw the United States doing. They used to have a dude they called the CIA. He used to specifically go to countries and bankrupt countries and turn them upside down. This is what the CIA has been doing for a very long time. They did it in Venezuela. They did it in Panama. They did it in Nicaragua. They did it in various countries. But anyway, we're gonna save some for another day. I appreciate everybody that joined us. I know you guys had some questions. They passing laws in the South for people to get guns without license. Yeah, stay woke, man. That's all I can tell you. Grouchy old woman, how you doing? Happy Valentine's Day, Melly. Appreciate you, grouchy old woman. Yo, you being grouchy today? Shout out to Terrell. What's going on with you, bro? Demon in the house. Yeah. Now, don't hate them, bro. They just trying to survive, bro. Don't hate China. They're trying to survive. They're trying to figure out a way to survive because the United States got so much pressure on them. Same thing with Russia. Just trying to figure out. A lot of people don't know that in Ukraine, they're not gonna tell you that there are United States mercenaries over there fighting that war. That's why Ukraine is kicking their butt the way because they got United States is the most tested army in the world because they fight consistently. If your army don't fight, it's like if, say for instance, you a football player, right? And you don't never practice. But I practice day in and day out. Who's the better of the two? You or me? I am because I practice it, live, eat it, sleep it. You just relax. You don't care. You play with it whenever you feel like it. It's a difference in that. It's a difference in a moment and a movement. A movement requires sacrifice. And the United States will sacrifice a lot to gain more. That's just the bottom of the pit right there. There you go, the Diary of an Economic Hitman. You hit it right there, Aki. You hit the nose right there. Go read that book, y'all. The Diary of an Economic Hitman. Go read that book. Matter of fact, read that book, read the Committee 300, where they talk about the Trilateral Commission. Go read those two books. And then you come back and talk to me. Depleted the uranium. Yep, there you go, Troy. You got it. See, y'all up on it, man. Man, I'm glad to see the black man reading, man. 'Cause I just didn't remember the title, but I know I read the book. I was like, huh? This is what the country I live in, this is what they do. This the pressure they put on other countries and regimes and bankrupting country and starving people and killing people. Then they pretend that they don't do it. Are you kidding me? Am I allowed to even talk about this stuff? I got to, if I know it, right? If it's printed in the book, there was a company that print books. It's called Books That Are Different to Your Government. It was a company in California, and I used to read, and it was a book that what's his name? I can't think of that guy's name. He's very controversial. He's always on Democracy Now. What is his name? Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky. Go read some of Noam Chomsky books and see what his thoughts is about the United States. He's a white man. Get your Noam Chomsky book and read that book, and you'll learn a lot about the country that you live in. And the name of the publishing company, I think, was Indifference to the Government. Shout out to Marlena Williams. You gotta follow me around, protect me at all costs. I'm glad I got you on my team, Marlena. Yeah. But anyway, I had a couple of people call in, so I gotta take their calls. I know they've been waiting to talk to me all day. So I appreciate everybody coming on. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe we get we'll talk about it. I got a lady name. Her name is Tammy Mathis. She's gonna talk about insurance, and generational wealth. How to build generational wealth. We're gonna. I mean, we're gonna get some people on to teach you some things and not just talk this BS about gangbanging. Gangbanging it doesn't even. It's not even a tenth of what we do as a people. It is not the ethnic identity. We're greater the people than that. We're smarter. We come from kingdoms and complex architectures. We the makers and the owners, the cream of the crop. Black woman is the original woman. Why would you deal with a copy? Yes. But to each his own. But with that being said, every night before I go off, I gotta put auntie on.
Just to hear something like that would happen on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, when you dealing with different hoods, what do you expect? Because it's the weekend, and I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm from Santana Block Crip, so it's gonna do what it do.
It's gonna do what it do, auntie. Imagine that. It's gonna do what it do. I get a crack. It just cracks me up every time I see her say that. Cracks me up. But anyway, I surely hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Remember, before the handguns, we had fair ones. So man up. This is not a glorification. This is an education. You can go anywhere in the world to hear a lie, but you come here to hear the truth. And I deal with facts, statistics, figures, and reality. With that being said, Professor Melly Mill, we are out. Marlene Williams, go ahead and lock the door. We are going.